Hi, I'm Jeremy. AJ!
These are extraordinary times!
Welcome back to the Extraordinary Times, and welcome back to AJ.
I'm back!
He made it back from the Great White North, and, well, we continue to our first story of the day, which is, of course, well, kind of a throwback, because we keep talking about Iran and how the Obama administration is dealing with it. You know, I talked about Leon Panetta the other day. I know I did at some point, but we move on. Because now the Obama administration is, well, playing softball with Iran, because you know we've been imposing sanctions on them and trying to get them to do what we want, and now apparently 10 European countries have already been exempted from these sanctions so that they can deal with Iran as they please, and now Japan. And Japan, and now added to that list.
Let's see, Taiwan, India, Turkey, South Korea, Malaysia, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. What?
So basically every first and second world country, you know, can deal with them if they want, just, you know, no one of any non-importance. And speaking of Europe,
all right, so EU's been having troubles, as you know, we've talked about a bit. Yeah, Greece, you know, Spain, and now Italy, by the way, just so you know. And then Britain's been watching this and been going, what? Uh-oh.
You know how we're doing pretty good? Can we stop?
And the politicians, not so much, but the people have put forward an 80% poll saying, we'd like to have a referendum put out so that we could, you know, step away from the EU if we can. Just bail out of this sinking ship.
Now, like most polls, you have to take it at face value. We don't.
Salt,
yeah,
you know.
It could have been a very narrow number of people, kind of people that they polled, like a Fox News poll, for instance. But at the same time, that still does show a degree of truth. Even if that says 80% and the real number is 60% or 50%, that's still a huge number of people that are against this.
All right, so the Olympics are coming up. I think we've mentioned that a couple times.
Over there.
London, you know, with their weird statue or whatever. Anyway, they're going even further. With, there's, let's see, artist-director Danny Boyle has... Hey, they're after us. They're after us!
They're on to me!
Ah! Anyway, sorry about the little break. He has created this new setup that is supposed to be really big, really green. Basically, it's supposed to show an idyllic showing of the English, Scottish, Irish, Welsh countryside, which happens to look a lot like Teletubby Land.
Well, you gotta understand, Teletubbies were made in Britain, and they were trying to mirror, and now they're mirroring, and it's...
Right. Either way, it's actually all supposed to have real clouds, too. They're going to produce artificial clouds that are actually going to rain, which, you know, shows England all over. Either way,
also a note, they're gonna make it rain! And now, back to the States, where Indiana... Oh, dear sweet Indiana. They have become the first of a series of states who are going to begin to allow citizens to invoke their Second Amendment rights to protect their Fourth Amendment rights. So, for those of you who don't know, Wikipedia article down in the description, but what it really means is if police try and kick down a door in Indiana and they do not have a warrant, well, a person can shoot, and they're well within their rights to use deadly force on an intruding police or other kind of badged unit who tries to break in.
Now, the police aren't too happy about this. You know, they're saying, you know, things like it just puts a bounty on our heads. For me, this just means they're going to be more careful now. So instead of incurring property damage that they're not liable for, you know, they actually will be liable and actually have something, you know, hanging over them. Make sure you're going into the right place. And if someone doesn't think that, you know, they should have a warrant on them, you know, they can protect themselves now, and if someone does have a warrant out on them, they're probably going to try and shoot at the cops anyway, so,
Well, it's a protection of rights, because if you are intruded on by a policing force and you're fully innocent, all they're going to do is come in and take you and well, intrude on your life, and that might not sound like a lot, but it wasn't a lot. to jump the shark a little bit, it wasn't that bad in Germany at first, and then they kept kicking down doors and kept taking people, and it could be a big deal. If you don't stop it at this early level, who's going to stop it when it gets to this level? Bingo. And on to Burger King.
Oh, Burger King. Actually, I really like Burger King. I prefer it over McDonald's, but they haven't been doing so well lately, so they decided to throw a little enticement out there, I guess. They have debuted their Bacon Sundae.
Which is really ironic, because it's really not their idea. At least the first time I saw it was at Denny's.
Right.
When they did their
Baconalia.
Oh. Bacon, 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 and bacon. Everything.
Oh, man. But, you know what? This will probably at least gain a few people. I didn't actually try any of that bacon and ice cream stuff, but I may just have to now.
I had bacon and pancakes. It was amazing. And we move on to Google News, not only because we are very slightly employed by Google, but because this is probably one of the goofiest things I've ever seen in my life. Now, a story that I nixed yesterday was something about Google and Apple deploying planes to do even more detailed aerial maps of areas, so that you get a real 3D experience and you can fly through the air and blah blah blah. And I mean, that creeps me out a little bit, and we'll link to the story down there about that. But the goofiest thing you'll ever see is this, and this. Because that, my friends, is the new Google Trekker, which has 15 5-megapixel cameras on it. And you are, as a Google Trekker person, going to wear this and just walk around in the wild and take pictures of everything everywhere.
Just as you walk.
Just as you walk, or, you know, climb in the Grand Canyon, or ski down a slope like that last picture showed you. What in the world? Honestly, Google, I'm sorry. Like, you know, satellite's fine, USGS data good, but once you start getting down, like, the Street View cars are crazy enough. This is just, no,
creepy.
Too much. Yeah, creepy! That's the right word! But we move on to our win story of today.
And if you haven't heard about it yet, well, you are out of the loop.
You were out of the loop.
Oh, I was on vacation.
Yeah. That's a good reason to be out of the loop. I'm just saying.
Either way. So, there's a guy runs a site called TheOatmeal, comic kind of site, and was recently hit with a threat of a lawsuit.
Funnyjunk.com apparently did not enjoy Matt Inman, the proprietor of TheOatmeal, describing in excruciating detail how Matt Inman's material was being hosted on Funnyjunk over and over again, and Funnyjunk was monetizing on it. Because for those of you who don't know, if you think Google is bad about advertising, Funnyjunk.com had advertising everywhere, and then there's a little picture in the middle of the screen. So, Funnyjunk had been defamed, according to them, and so they hired this sensational lawyer whose name totally escapes me, and it is not really important because he's a scumbag. Not all lawyers are scumbags, but this particular scumbag is a lawyer. Moving on. they wrote a cease and desist letter, basically detailing how the Oatmeal was defaming Funnyjunk and that it was damaging to them, and so they demanded $20,000 or they would sue.
And then, Matt Inman posted this whole thing online and said, here's the links to the hundreds of stuff that you have posted of mine without my permission, stolen and gotten money off of.
The even funnier part is that he listed the entire cease and desist letter and broke it down, section by section, and that being one of the sections, he ripped them apart.
Oh,
this
is
the consequence of trying to intimidate a very, very smart artist. They will take your intimidation and they will stretch it and pull it and cut it into tiny little sections.
And turn it into a fundraiser. Which brings us to the great win of today, which is BearLove Good, Cancer Bad Foundation. Started by Matt Inman yesterday. His response to being demanded to give $20,000 to Funnyjunk.com was a polite F you, and I will instead ask the people who support me to donate money, to donate half to the National Wildlife Association and half to the American Cancer Society. And thusly, of his $20,000 goal, in a little more than 24 hours, I'm going to reload this right now so you get an accurate number. He has raised $125,216, and that is up $2,000 since we started recording. So just so you know, this is a big deal. There are 14 days left. We're going to put a link at the top of everything, just below the AllThingsExtraordinary@gmail.com, which you should send your stories to this link on Indiegogo.com. Please, if you can, donate, because there are two good causes to donate to, and a third that is, F you to stealing and people stealing content.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely necessary. Defend the right of artists to, make their own money off of their own stuff, and screw people who steal. So, thank you so much for watching The Extraordinary Times. I am Jeremy.
I'm AJ.
You know what to do. Like it over here, favorite it over here, subscribe to us up there if you really want us to get better. And, of course, share us with your friends. And until next time,
be aware.
You know what to do. Share us with your friends!